That takes a while. I am so glad you are here. We're just waiting to get those lovely Instagram folks on. Yay. We're all here. I'm here with one of the Marys. I know we have a lot of Marys. I love the Marys. You're my favorite. Love you guys. This is Liz at Megas Books and Herbs in Minneapolis and at megasbooks.com. And we're going to start with our fabulous morning announcements. Yes, we are. Do I ever feel like a junior high school, middle school principal, a vice principal? Yes, I do sometimes. But you know what? We all need to know this, and it's kind of fun. So I'm going to enjoy it. So we had a fabulous time this weekend and all of last week welcoming out-of-town guests who are coming in for Paganicon. So kudos. Love that you all stopped by for a visit. I'm sorry, you guys have missed it. We had Palmistry Sunday last Sunday. It was a blast with Chris. It'll be coming up again on the 4th Sunday of next month, too. It's always fascinating. It's always fun. I got to eavesdrop on a little bit of the class, and he was talking about things you wouldn't expect in a 101 class. So I absolutely adored the class. Reiki share is coming up this Sunday, so if you've got your Reiki 1, 2, or 3 and you just want to do some tradesies, come on in at noon and we'll do what we can do. I think it's part of the fun. You can absolutely join us here, of course, online. I release something at about 11:15 every day of the week now. Now I'm canning half of them because I'm not physically in the store for 3 of the days of the week. I do some work from home because it's nice to think in whole paragraphs, I've got to say. That's the benefit of me working at home, is paragraphs of thought. But do look for us on all the fabulous socials. You're seeing us right now either on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, or on the replay on Facebook or YouTube. But you'll see us on TikTok and Blue Sky pretty regularly as well. And I'm going to get back to a couple other ones, which they're not listed right now, but we'll see. Also coming up, and we've had some enthusiasm about this, is Gateway to the Gods. That's the first Sunday next month, the first Sunday in April. Always fun. We sample one herb that's categorized as an entheogen. So what's an entheogen? An herb to help you see God is the classic definition. So we talk about the contraindications, the warnings, we go through all the safety info, but we also go over the folklore and people's experiences and some interesting information. Even the names of the chemistry, for those of you who are chemistry nerds, I love you. We're going to do it. And then while that's going on, you've had the opportunity to have what I would call a beginner's dose or a beginner's sample of the tea. We take a break as that is finishing kicking in, and then we push that little baby dose as far as we can by going on a guided meditation. And then I'm here for the rest of the day. No one ever has an issue, but I'm here in case there are any issues for anybody. Coming up next month on the 13th, it's a Sunday, April 13th, Nancy Antonucci's Tarot Lab, always a hit, always jam-packed. They start at 3:30. Get here a little early to grab your seat. It's just a good idea. What else am I mentioning today? I did palmistry, yay. So Seekers classes are resuming. They took last weekend off, the Seekers classes for the Coven of the Standing Stones. That resumes this Saturday at noon. They're going to be talking about meditation.
And magical.
Yes, and it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
And coming up in April, we'll have sacred sexuality and sacred nudity, paganism, children, and family. And they're going to start their 3-part dive into various forms of divination. So totally worth checking out. These are completely free classes, these Coven of the Standing Stones classes. And they're sort of the intro to their group and the way their thought process about these various subjects work, so that you can come and check them out, see if it's a group you might want to participate in and go beyond this intro level to become a dedicant, to move toward initiation and elevation, and then finally elevation to the 3rd degree with them. They are fun. Tonight, we will be in Herbalism Dos. That's right, 2nd year of Herbalism class is tonight. If you are interested in starting your herbal journey, these classes, levels 1, 2, and 3, start every September. If you need a payment plan for this one, because it's a lot of class, so it's kind of a hefty one. If you need a payment plan for it, come see us in June, and we can split the payment out over June, July, and August, with all your payments being due by the first class in early September. Oh my. If you are looking for fabulous readers, I'm going to encourage you to come in. We've got a new reader starting today. So if you have a chance, come say hi, come get a quick reading. She really was fabulous in her audition. Loved having her here. She's going to be doing Wednesdays and Thursdays since Kenneth is now working he's got a 9-to-5er. Yay. But he is still here on Saturday afternoons. Ravenwolf is here for the first part of Saturday in the early afternoon, and Kenneth is here for the latter part of Saturdays. Doc Murphy is doing readings on Sundays. She's here noon to 6. Paul is doing dream interpretation, usually from about 2 to 6 on Mondays. Ravenwolf, our Saturday noon to 2 guy, is also here on Tuesdays from noon to about 3. But if you catch him, he can usually stick around for a reading. So that's our lineup. New reader starting today. Very excited. We'll have her on maybe next week so you guys can meet her. I think that'll be fun. And I have been asked to do, I told Mary before we started that I finally figured out a few months ago, why don't you wear some of the bling and things that we offer here at the shop and show some things off? And I told her, I haven't quite gotten up to and what are we wearing today segment? She said, I have to do it today. So what are we wearing today? I have here, this is a beautiful pendant, a little necklace with a little stack of stones. This was put together by Mary Wilson, whose art you see behind us right now. She is a multi-talented, multifaceted crafter and artist, like this one right here. I am wearing a couple of rings, a abalone shell, and a labradorite. These are from Tracy's collection, from her shop. It's one of the things she took with her when she closed down that store. She, by the way, is still a reader here. She's just on medical leave. We're still looking forward to her coming back. She is such a hoot to have here. She's a real blessing. And I'm also wearing, just so I could show it off, and I thought it went nicely with my little top today, one of our fabulous Jerry imports. She has imported for us a ton of scarves, purses, bags of various kinds. There's some that I think are perfect to put rooms in. Other ones are great for decks. There are big bags. There are little bags. There are also, by the way, hats, belts, jewelry. She imported a lot. It's what she did for a living. And she is now retired. And she just brought us everything she had. And I just send her a check every month to help her with her retirement. So when you buy from her, buy that stuff from us, you're supporting her, which is fabulous because she was just a local lady who imported. And I have one other little thing I have to thank everybody out there for. Those of you who come into the store and shop, we have a little donations jar right up by the till. It serves several functions for us, but one of the ways we use it is when we have enough money, I run over to Costco and I buy like snacks, stuff in case somebody on staff is starving and they just need a little something. So we have enough in there that I can buy a giant box of these. So I thank you. Liz, thanks you. I know I'm Liz, there's another Liz. Liz, thanks you. Adam, thanks you. Gosh, Jamie, thanks you. We all thank you. The readers, thank you. We love that. And I will be having someone new starting soon on the Saturdays because happily, the person working with Liz on Saturdays, a delightful person, has been given a promotion at her other job, so she's not available to work with anybody else anymore. So we'll have someone new coming in. I've been doing interviews. If you are interested, quick, send me a resume. Just email it through the website and magisbooks.com and we'll get you in for a quick interview and see what we think. I've got 3 delightful people I've interviewed so far. And I know you'd interview, but you're busy on Saturdays. You're too busy for us.
Too busy.
So that's our basics. Now I want to focus on you.
Oh, well, I want to say too, this is from Vegas. So this is a smoky quartz and a moonstone.
I love that.
That's so amazing. So, yeah.
I think that's one of the crystals of Earth people.
Maybe.
You would know. I'm missing part of the name. That's okay. I know who I mean, darn it. You can see their stuff. It's all set in sterling silver. The quality is magnificent.
Yeah, it is.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I probably have to do a restock soon. Oh my. But we also have fabulous products. Not only have you been featured in an art show here, not only has your art had graced our walls and excited our souls, but she makes stuff. I'm going to start with this over here because I can grab it.
Okay, perfect.
So there are a few personal grooming items, shall we call them?
Yes, personal grooming.
So 2 of them are these fabulous smelling beard oils.
Yeah, so those are for people that want to smell good and make sure that your facial hair is smelling wonderful and conditioned and manageable and not all fly away all over the place.
Soft, touchable.
Yes,
Welcoming.
yes, very good. It is very cool. And it's like, that's like a small batch creation, and there's 2 flavors, the Woodland Wonder and what's the other one? Citrus. Yeah, they smell really good.
Yeah, they do.
Very, very subtle. They're not overwhelming like some of those spray things that you get in the stores. They're like, you walk in and go, wow, there's somebody in here wearing that.
Yeah, you'd have to be right next to the person to really smell, but they're wonderful. This is the citrus one. I love this one. And it would go with so many, don't overdo the cologne, please, but go with so many nice colognes that have a little citrus note in them.
Yes.
And the Woodland Wonder, one of the scents in here is definitely cedar from what I can smell. Yes. And this also would go really well with something that's got some sandalwood in its scent base, or anything with a cedary smell to it too. So this is delightful.
Yeah, they're very good.
Sort of very like woodsy masculinity.
Yeah. The flannel shirts and, hats and all that kind of
Citrusy yet masculine.
thing.
Now, we're keeping the beards soft, we're keeping them touchable and smelling wonderful, which is good, because you have one other personal care item.
Yes.
This one's for the ladies.
Yes. So this is called a Happy Hoo-Ha, right? So it's a salve with minimal beeswax, and it's to moisturize your lady bits.
You can use it elsewhere, but that's what it's designed for.
Well, and it's like a friend of mine, and I've used it on my face as a moisturizer, and it's very, very nice. And it doesn't clog the pores.
Which is really helpful. It's got several base oils in there, and I always find a blend is better. You get more out of the thing. It's more than the sum of its parts kind of experience.
Yeah.
Plus, there are herbs that have been steeped in the oil that have been shown to have positive effects on skin and surface areas.
For moisture. Plumpness. Yeah.
Yes, I know I have that strange story about the Don Quai that's in here from Susan Weed. I won't repeat it online. I don't think I can do it.
No, don't do it. We'll have to read it.
Yes.
Come in and ask the question.
Yeah, she keeps it in her mouth at certain. You'll have to come in or take the herb class. I'll tell you the story there.
Yes,
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
But then we have these products over here that you can grab.
Yeah, so the other products that are in the store are the powders. And so these are for magical workings in place of salt, in place of any kind of like powders that you would use to augment your magical workings. This one is a Thieves Vanishing Powder, and they actually smell pretty good. They're talc-free because talc is not good for us.
Yeah.
It's like we don't want to inhale that or get it on our skin or anything like that. And another one is eggshell powder, and this is in place of eggshells because eggs are like what now, like $1 a piece?
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
ridiculous,
oh my gosh.
expensive.
So so this, you're getting a deal here because there's actual real eggshells in here. And the eggshell powder, it's like any of the powders, you would use sprinkle them around your candles and around your altar. You could even use them for like across your doorstep or in your windowsills.
I think to create a magical barrier between
Yeah.
anything that might come at you from the outside and where you need to be safe and protected, like your home.
Yes. Yep. And so the banishing powders are definitely something to look at. The other pieces.
And I would also sorry to interrupt,
go
but
ahead.
speaking of those powders and eggshell versus salt, you'll find folk references on the salt in Northern Europe, I find. Like there are like the Grimm's Brother tales, if you go look at the original versions they wrote down, there's absolutely salt water in a circle around somebody for protection.
Yeah.
Look for the Maiden of the Golden Hands or Maiden of the Silver Hands and get that early version, not the ones they watered down, let alone what Disney did to them. And eggshell powder I find more often in more Southern European traditions, which I think is an interesting little dichotomy, a little difference. Doesn't mean you can't use it
Right.
if you're Northern European, and you definitely, absolutely, you saw them assimilate into each other so that both parts of Europe ended up using both, but it's interesting that one place thought of it, the eggshells first, the other thought of the salt first.
Well, and now there's a show that's on TV that it's like, let's pour salt around, make a circle in the woods and all that kind of thing. And salt is really destructive. It will kill plants.
Yeah.
And it's not good for our water. They're finding that in our fresh water system, it's becoming, the salinity is rising. So really using salt out in nature is not something you should be doing. So this would be an option.
That's a nice biodegradable, healthy for the soil option.
Yes, and salt is not anything that you want to put outside.
No, we have enough salt. And I mean, they're freshwater animals, fish and stuff for a reason. They don't do well in salt water. That's why there's that difference. So yeah, we want to use what's good for people and the planet.
Yeah.
And our little animal neighbors and plant neighbors.
Yes.
But you also have, because you're about to get to, you're fabulous.
Yes.
I love these.
The inks, the magical inks. So these are selling. There was a lady who was in here, like she bought what was it, 2 of them tonight?
Yeah.
So the magical inks are also a small batch, and they're different inks for different reasons that you would use them. Liz asked me do you have anything that's like any artwork? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I think that it's definitely one of those things that you should come in and look at them.
Yeah.
Because they're all very, very different. And what do we have? Because I noticed there's one that's missing. The raven's blood is gone. Bat's blood, butterfly's blood, and there's no blood in them actually, really.
Right. And it's an old term for just dragon's blood, for example, is a resin that comes from a tree. And on this, Eastern, the New World side of the planet, but the resin is bright red.
Yeah.
So it's called dragon's blood.
Yes, no dragons were hurt.
Yeah.
So I think the dragon's blood, I don't know, can you see it? It's like
it's
super red and luscious, kind of a coppery. The camera's moving.
It's really wild. Yeah, it doesn't have its own.
Jeez. And it's a coppery, kind of a swirly ink. And also I think it's the rabbit's blood or dove's blood, that's super swirly also. And so it's that iridescence to the ink.
Yeah, the bat's blood does the same sort of iridescence. It's dark, so it's harder to see on camera. But not only do you have many, many different inks, but you provide little swatches so we can see what it's going to likely do on the paper.
Yeah.
Now, I have been telling people that my favorite way to use these is with a Q-tip. But what are the other methods that you like to use or that you find work well with these inks?
Depending on what you're doing, you can use paintbrush. You do not want to put them into a ink pen because it'll ruin the pen. You can use a nib or a glass nib or a stick. Right? Yeah. And so there's many different ways that you can use them. You can utilize them to make sigils. I know, did Zarkov come into the store this last week? Because she was here.
She was here in town. Yeah, I did not see her this time.
Tempest Zarkov. Yeah. So she has a book on sigils.
Sigil witchery.
And so these inks would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
And any kind of spell writing, it's like I don't do artwork with them because it's like I don't know if they would be archival quality because of the alcohol content. But if it's like writing out like a sigil or like names or intentions or affirmations, it totally would work for that.
Absolutely.
They're amazing. Yeah.
So, and just to go through how they work, which one is which. There's owl's blood. That is for seeing through the darkness. So you can see what's really happening. And we've been talking about this week in the shorts with some moon magic spells to reveal things that are hidden when you need that kind of help. So check that one out.
And sometimes there are things that we don't want to see.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take a few days to process if you get a vision of some kind.
Yeah. And then you're like, no, because we're human beings. we really don't want to see the truth.
Sometimes, yeah.
And it's like
absolutely.
when the truth hits us in the face and you're like, oh, that's right.
Which is actually why it's good to use this, so you get a little forewarning.
Yeah.
Just get yourself prepared.
Yes.
But you've got that's okay, we'll fix that. You've
So
got,
the bat's blood is for revenge, cursing, or hexing.
here's what the ink looks like.
You know, maybe it's like, I don't know, it's like that's walking a fine line of you don't want to hurt yourself.
Yep.
Dragon's blood is for spell work for protection and versatility.
Always adds a little extra oomph to any magic working you're doing.
Yeah,
So like if I was using words, if my magic work, I'm like writing something out that's anything that would require punctuation, this is your exclamation point. I would absolutely switch colors and add this for the exclamation point.
Yeah. Rabbit's blood, fertility and love spells. We just had Valentine's Day last month.
This is a sweet.
And that's a super pretty blue.
Yes,
So
it's really
so
gorgeous.
pretty.
Yeah.
Dove's blood is for love and friendship and prosperity, right? So tax season. I don't have to pay taxes. And butterfly's blood is a very light colored golden yellow. It's so pretty for like an all over spells, charms, like fancy stuff.
Bring good luck,
Yeah.
More positive energy,
Positivity.
renewal, survival. I'm seeing a lot of memes right now about butterflies as a symbol of survival and still finding the beauty in life.
Yeah.
So this is great for that kind of working. If you're ready to renew, if you're still pissed about what's going on in the world, here's your bat's blood. We're here for you.
Yes.
But if you're ready to renew and revitalize, try the butterfly. It's a friendlier, softer little energy.
Well, I'm working with, whether you're working during the daylight or working at night, or if you're working with a specific direction or you're working with a specific elemental piece, they all carry their own place for that. And it's like, it's not anything like secret. It's like, it's pretty straightforward. It's like butterflies work with air. And because it's a yellow, it would be, working more with the sun.
Yep.
So
and air. Yellow also gets used for air.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then
so working, then that's just part of the knowledge. It's like I just had a conversation with someone about we tend to not want to do the knowledge work and learning and all that kind of thing. And it's like learning the craft is a practice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I find I pick up the pieces, well, even more importantly, I retain the pieces that I actually use. So if it's not something I'm going to be doing, I don't bother about it. I might read it, but I'm going to cruise past it pretty fast and then be more intentional with my reading for knowledge or listening to people for knowledge. When it gets to something like, I would do that, that's a thing I would put into practice on a regular basis. Then I will memorize it. I will naturally memorize it just by repetition.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we know what we value in our practice. I think that's important.
Well, and I think we all have different practices.
Yes.
And so having those people that you can talk to say, hey, well, what about this?
Yeah.
It's not so much about working in a group all the time or working in a coven all the time, but just having people that are like-minded that you're able to say, hey, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
And, being respectful of their own practice. Because there's always knowledge out there that we can learn from each other.
I absolutely love working with my coven, but my anticipation is that we all have our own personal practice as well. And that by doing that, we add to the richness of what we do when we come together. And I find that to be one of the most invigorating parts of working in a group. Like if you're going to work in a group and it gets stagnant, of course the group's going to dissolve. You need your own personal practices, I believe.
Yeah.
Your own patron deities, or however it is that works for you. Might not be a patron deity. It might be a thing you do. That's fine. But yeah, I find you got to have an individual. You got to have your own stake in the game, basically.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking to a friend of mine that does QHHT. And it's like, we were talking on the phone and I said, that's a lot of work. And I said, it is very clear that your practice and your passion and your focus is that modality. And because I was thinking about doing that and I'm like, dang, that's a lot of work. But I worked with Reiki.
Yeah.
And I've been practicing Reiki for, I don't know, it's almost 25 years now. And so I know a lot about that. And so you kind of, it's like you find your vein that you work with and how you process.
Yeah, it's sort of like
working with energy and stuff like
yeah,
that.
it's kind of finding your spot in the universe.
Yeah.
Where the universe and society rewards you for what you're doing in ways that you like. I think that's the real key.
Yeah.
But I did have another thought. I've had several stray thoughts as we've been chatting. One of them is in the short I did on magical workings this time, it was divination, which is coming out on Saturday. I don't remember. But one of the meditations involved looking at a bowl of water that has had the moon pass through it as you pour the water. It's a beautiful little meditation device, a way to scry. One of the steps, the last step, is to record what you've seen. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to write it down because that's how I am. And it's kind of a running joke in my herb classes that I'm a horrible artist. It's true. But if you were a more visual person, it would be really interesting to me to capture the visuals in this kind of ink and then to sit and think about what those colors mean to you and how to interpret them within the confines of that piece of artwork that you've just done as a record of your meditation.
Yeah.
I think that would be delightful.
That would be really cool. Yes.
Just a random way.
Yeah.
Using the oils.
Well, and we're all artists.
I know.
It's like we all, once again, that's a practice.
And I'm not a visual artist as well.
No,
So
yeah.
I work in many other modalities.
Yeah.
And to be very fair, for those of you who didn't ever have the opportunity to meet my partner, it's clear as soon as you meet him that sound matters more than anything else to me. And I did study music, so to be fair, yeah, that's where I put my artistic bent until I got into healing, and now I think that's where I derive that artistic, where that artistic drive gets what it needs. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
I just love that job.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, you're very good at it.
Well, thank you. You're no slouch yourself. You're making some fascinating things.
Yeah, well, like herbalism is, I mean, I've studied herbalism since like 85.
Yeah.
And not to the extent that you have, but my teachers have been different.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a lot of self-learned. I've got tons of books on herbalism at home. And once again, it's a practice. It's learning. It's knowledge. It's gaining and using the knowledge that you read.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's important to do that, to read as much as you possibly can, because there are people out there that know more, and to do like a little side piece, be very, very careful of what's written today to make sure that it's a real person and not an AI, because that's been a problem in like herbalism, especially. So it's important to know who your authors are.
You could get some very dangerous advice.
Yes.
In the AI world. So you want to know you're dealing with a real person. A real human actually backs up what's being written, including making sure that when it looks like it's by them, that it is by them.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of AI, sadly. Especially since you can tell AI engines to write me an article about this using the style of so-and-so.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah. So it's going to be a thing. Although you may have noticed that we have shorts now that I've been throwing up online. And am I editing? Am I sitting and editing and finding the bit? No, it's a new AI feature in the program we use for this. So we use AI too. I just have to vet them before I put them up.
Yeah.
So it's going to go on and on. I think it's going to become more and more a part of our world. And I think it's going to bring something that I have ranted not on here, but privately about for probably for 5 years now, the importance of teaching at a mandatory school level, logic, rhetoric. How do you deduce whether or not the source you've got is good, whether or not the information you've got is valid? Are you diving down a paranoid rabbit hole that's not based in truth? Or are you really getting into something that's important to understand and know?
And also, it's like the internet is an amazing thing. but there's a lot of recycled
Yes.
material. It's like, who wrote that material originally? And because you can go to 5 different websites and see the exact same thing.
Word for word.
And they're all claiming that it's theirs. And it's like, there's giving credit to who did that is really important. Who originally had that information.
Yes.
And
especially if you're on an information site.
Yeah.
You know, I will be perfectly upfront. All the book descriptions on our website come from the publishers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't credit the publishers on the site, but I think we understand it's a sales site. So you're shopping, and what you want to see is the representation that the author, the publisher would read is appropriate for their product. But if this was purely an informational site, no, I'd have to tell you what's going on whenever I could, or put citations in the body. And even then, I mean, I think of one of the big internet scandals from the last several years, and I'm not going to name the person who no longer has a YouTube channel. They did put citations in, but they failed. They had editors, they had other people doing the research at this point, and they failed to check the work of those people, and those people were stealing content.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. You also want to know how big the provider of the information is. You know, when you're coming here, it's just me. It's me. Frequently, it's off the top of my head. If I'm showing off a book, I show you the book.
Yeah.
Like I worked a little bit twice this week with Llewellyn's Little Book of Moon Magic. That's where the scrying spell, which I kind of paraphrased because I wasn't going to sit there and, you know, bury my head in a book and read it. But absolutely, like, this is what we're talking about. This is who wrote the book. This is, you know, you want to come pick up this book if you want more information on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good note to just be wary, particularly of informational sites.
Right. Well, and it's like, I'm pretty dogmatic on stuff like that. As an English educator, learning how to cite and learning how to give credit to, I mean, it's really important.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's no original thought at this point in 2025. But it's like, you can have an idea and then use your own words. It's like, you don't look at anything else and you just put down your own thoughts and your own words.
Yeah.
It's important to do that.
Yeah.
And then say, okay, so here's where I got the ideas from. That's where your bibliography comes in.
Yeah. I've synthesized information from these places and combined it with my own thought process to create this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're quoting, who said it?
Yeah.
And it's like, when it comes to, you know, the store and the different things that are offered here at the store, it's like, we're able to say, this is how I practice, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And here are the teachers. I just wrote a blog entry about Reiki.
Oh, nice.
And you know, the number of authors that I've read about that subject is pretty extensive.
You mean it's not just Diane Stein?
No, it's not. It's like, it's a lot. And then, you know, European, like Walter Lubrick and
nice.
all those people, like Frank Everger.
I'm not going to say.
Is it Pretner?
I think so, yeah.
They're over in Europe, and it's like, I've read all of their work, and it's important to have those sources. But do I just stick with one? No, because there's a lot of different things that come into that.
Yeah, and different people have different insights. And quite frankly, even if 3 of those authors have the same insight, one of them might phrase it in a way that really hits you in particular, and you're really able to latch onto it because of their style of presenting things. So yeah, it's also, I think about checking your sanity at times, especially in some of the groups that I have been in that have done magical practices of various kinds. You can end up diving into like strange relationship issues. You can end up diving into, you know, weird rabbit holes, paranoia. It's important that you step out, and reading other people's work is a way of stepping out and checking your own thought process on it. Am I way off the beaten path? Maybe if I'm way off the beaten path, I have a radical, fabulous new idea that really should be brought out to the forefront. I need to write a book that's fabulous. Or maybe, like Letty from The Vicar of Dibley, you've decided to bake a sauerkraut, carrot, cream cheese, chocolate cake that no one should ever be tortured with.
Just like, I don't know if that sounds good or not.
Yeah.
No.
that was sort of the running joke of that
Yeah.
particular character in The Vicar of Dibley, an old British sitcom starring a fabulous comedian. I highly recommend, and the cast is fantastic. It's a fun little trip down a particular part of British pop culture when vicars as women were new.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're interested, check it out. But we have to start wrapping it up because I'm the only one here and I have to clean up and open the store, darn it.
Yes.
But hopefully you're enjoying the show and we'll see you down here. Again, this is Liz. This is Mary Lovold. Hopefully we'll have her art back again sometime soon. And then in what I hope will be the new location, as I was really hoping I'd be making an announcement today, but I am not. Instead, I am still mired in the steps of the process. When I know where we're going, ink is dry on the lease, I will let you all know, I promise. We will shout it from the hills. But in the meantime, this is us at Megas Books and Herbs in Minneapolis, and at megasbooks.com. And of course, we love it when you do all of the likes, the shares, the comments, all the things. Might take me a few days to see them, but I do see them when you're watching on the replay. I read everything and often respond. So thanks, everybody, and blessed be.